Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I have for you results of my 60x investment fractured cemetery 100% delirious test. This was a very successful test that I've been running for the past 2 days. This will show you what you can expect on average to get from that region from farming the cemetery maps. The way I did it, I'm gonna explain exactly the setup, I'm gonna explain the cost of everything, I'm gonna explain how to run it, what kind of character you need, I guess, and then I'm gonna talk about all of the profits that we made and break down all of the loot so that you can see exactly what you can expect to make on average, or actually a little bit below average even, because we ran with some pretty bad luck, very dry maps in the first day, and then the second day was like a normal day that you should pretty much expect from this. But I'm gonna talk about this in the moment. First of all, let me address how do you run this, what is this content, how do you do this. So first of all, you're gonna need a you're gonna need a cemetery map with fractured nemesis on it. We boosted this map up to 75% quality. It does not consume sextant uses, 5 delirium orbs with scarabs, and it has the elder influence, with map being occupied by constrictor, because unfortunately there is no cemetery map without the without the boss in it, right? Unfortunately it doesn't exist on trade, online, offline, ritual, standard, just doesn't exist. Zana is trolling and not selling this base as she does with other maps. However, this is still fine even with there being an Elder Guardian in this map, because we're getting plenty enough loot, considering the fact that there is like rituals sometimes stuck at the end of the boss fight, and we're not ever engaging with the boss because I'm playing a self-curse character, so we don't care about the Elder, we're never killing it, and the profits are purely from everything else that we're doing in this map. So this map, as with any 100% delirious maps, I talk about how to make 100% delirious maps in previous videos, but basically what we're doing is we're using fractured fossils, which are like 2.3 or 2.4x right now per each fractured fossil. We're using fractured fossils, we're using resonator, like a powerful chaotic resonator, then we're using also corroded fossil and dense fossil, all of that just to copy this map, just to get a copy of this map that we're going to be running together with scarabs, which I've been using, which were Gilded Legion, Gilded Harbinger, Gilded Divination, and Gilded Breach. And my Watchstone and Sextant setup is very simple. I'm basically running any random Watchstone I can find that has as many monsters that I can add to the map. So like 5% more rare monsters, you can add bigger pack size, you can add more magic monsters, and to top it all off, you could also have like prefix on these watchstones with more beyond spawns, or like 1% beyond or extra beyond demons. Basically, you want to pack as many monsters into your maps as possible. For the Atlas passives, it doesn't really matter much as long as you're picking the beyond ones, and then maybe you can also pick the essence one, just to add as many monsters as you can. The rest points are allocated in the harvest so that I can get some extra harvest, which adds to the income that we're making. And for sextants, we are running Nemesis. Nemesis drops additional currency items. Ideally you want it elevated. I don't have it elevated yet, so we have like additional monsters, 3 additional basic currency items from Nemesis monsters. We have Beyond 6%, which you want to get actually elevated to 8%. We have Breaches. I get 2 Breaches, you can get elevated 3, and then I have elevated Abyss, which is 3 extra abysses, and that's what you want. Basically, if you can get all of these elevated and even better Watchstones than I have, you're gonna be constantly pushing 14 rewards in your maps and getting a lot of loot and tons of scarabs. You need a build that can comfortably do the delirium maps, but it is a T14, so it's not as difficult as like a T16 100% delirious maps. However, you still need a pretty good character for that. That's basically it when it comes to the setup. When it comes to the profits, take a quick look at this tab. So I got 11 tabs here that are all basically rewards, like basically all of this is loot from these maps. We ran 20 maps. So 20 maps in which we invested 60x. The 60x were spent on the maps themselves, which were basically the cost of the fractured fossils, corroded, dense, and the resonator. Then we spent about 2x on Legion Scarabs, about 3x on Harvey Scarabs, about 3x on Divination Scarabs, and about 2x on the Breach Scarabs. Together with the cost of Zana map device and basically all of that added together adds up to a little bit less than 60 exalts, but I round it all up just so that in case the prices of some things increase, it's still gonna be valid. Basically up to 60x investment in those 20 maps. So out of those 20 maps, for the first 10 maps, I got like jack shit. I got like the highest, except for like exalts dropping, the most expensive item I got for the first 10 maps on day one was like was basically this, like a 30C jewel, right? That was like the most expensive thing that I dropped on day one, which was the first 10 maps, and then the second 10 maps, it compensated for that by dropping Inspired Learning and Brother's Stash. So Brother's Stash is the card that drops in this. I can tell you that on average, I find one in about 8 maps, something like that. I've run this map before the test for 4 days in a row, and during those 4 days, every single day we dropped either 1 or 2 Brothers Stashes. In one case, we dropped like 2 Brothers Stashes in one map. This is definitely a card that drops very consistently if you're doing these super juiced maps and you're getting to like at least 13 rewards, which means you're getting a lot of monsters. So in this test, in those 20 maps, we dropped 1 Brothers Stash, which is on the very low side. I would expect to drop 2 or 3 Brothers Stashes on average based on the results that I've had previously, but we dropped just 1. So this is very, very conservative. We dropped Inspired Learning, which is about 3.5x depending on the day. It varies between like 2.4 to 4.4. It's about 3 point something x. And we dropped a lot of exalts. We had 27 exalts here. You drop sometimes like 3 or 4 exalts a map, especially if you get the Nemesis 4, you're going to be dropping a lot of them. Sometimes you drop 0, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. It depends, but on average, you can expect an exalt a map, no problem. We've got some other currencies here, and this is just the raw chaos that we dropped from this map. This is an insane amount of chaos. The next tab shows, oh, also we get like Hoarders and Patience. I think the patients were from Ritual. Then we've got a bunch of other things that I picked up. Some of those things are not really valuable, but I still picked them up. Didn't want to think too much about looting. My filter is pretty strict, but still shows a bunch of uniques. But these things are worth like, one with nothing is worth like 20C. These are like well-rolled energy from within, which are worth like 40C. These are worth for 30 each. There's like a simulacrum here. I don't pick up individual splinters. The only splinters I pick up, the only splinters that show on my filter, are the ones from bosses in stacks of like 15. If I were to pick up individual simulacrum splinters, which you get about 200 of per map, this would be additional 8x on top of everything else. And I'm going to tell you the total amount in a moment, how much we actually made. But I literally elected to not pick up like 8x worth of simulacrum splinters because simulacrum splinters individually are so spread out, it takes extremely long to pick them up for me. I just didn't want to bother with picking them up because the value of each splinter is less than a value of alteration. And speaking of alterations, we have some of them in the next tab. So this is how many alteration we found here. This is literally 10x worth of alterations that we found in 20 maps. So you find about half an x worth of alteration in each and every map. This is insane. There we've got a lot of sextants which sell in bulk for a lot of currency, a bunch of sextants, bunch of scours, bunch of Val orbs, regal orbs, regrets, and then we've got a bunch of lower currencies, horizons, and these lower currencies I don't pick them up from my loot filter, but I do find them from rituals. If there's like nothing to pick up, I pick up some like random remaining currencies, right? But I do not pick up alchemy orbs, augmentations, chances, fusings. I don't pick up any of those things. 6-socketed items, I have it all out of my filter so that I don't bother picking these up because they are less valuable than alterations. And when I made this filter, the breakpoint for the lowest item that I'm going to be picking up was basically an alteration. So I don't pick up a lot of currency that I would still have here if I wanted to spend more time looting. However, you still end up looting these maps for a pretty long time. Then we've got the scarabs, which is the main thing that we've got. If you look at this is just gilded scarabs. I ended up buying some scarabs from myself because to run these maps you need to use the Gilded Scarabs, which I didn't want to buy from other players because I'm dropping them. So as I'm sustaining them, if I needed like an extra Legion Scarab or something like that, then for this test I would basically check what is the price of this, and then I would put that much chaos and take out the Scarab, so that you can see the costs are gonna be still consistent. But while you're running this map, you can expect to sustain your Gilded Scarabs as long as you start with like a base of like 3 or 4 of them, because that means you're gonna have like a map where you drop a bunch of Gilded Legion, but you're not gonna drop any Gilded Divinations, and then you're gonna run out, right? But if you have like 3 of each, then you're gonna basically self-sustain forever Gilded Scarab, and they're gonna increase in quantity, and eventually you're gonna sell a bunch of them in bulk as well. So a bunch of Scarabs. There's more Scarabs here. There is more Scarabs here, like quad tabs worth of Scarabs, just like a shit ton of Scarabs that you're gonna be selling in bulk, which increases the prices by a lot. So this is how many Scarabs. I don't pick up Shaper Scarabs. I don't pick up like Rusted Reliquary Scarabs. I don't pick up Torment Scarabs. Like all the worst Scarabs I do not even bother picking up. And then we have some maps that we dropped. A lot of maps are not showing on my filter, and also there is no way you can drop like T16s because you're not killing a boss. So there is still like if the map was higher tier, that would be even more potential gains. However, because it's not, we mostly drop like Canyons, for example. So those are some maps that will sell in bulk for a little bit, and those are essentially the drops. I can also show you the data from the excellence. So let me switch the screen, and here we go. You can see this is the data from the excellence from tracking all of these tabs, and this is about 15,000 chaos, which means about 150 exalts. So as you can see, from investing about 60x, we got 150x back, which is absolutely insane. We more than doubled our money. This is definitely still worth it, definitely profitable and good to run, and you're basically just printing currency. And as you can see, nothing special here other than the inspired learning that dropped once and the brother stash, which you can expect to drop regularly if you're doing this. And this is still like, this is not accounting for all of the rolls on items, which certain items will sell for more, certain items will sell in bulk for more as well. So this is actually a little bit more than that. We also got some harvests, which we made some currency from. So more than 150 eggs in 20 maps. So if I had to guess how much time that took me, today's session took like 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours or something like that. And if we take this, so that is like 75 exalts over like 4 hours, this is more than 15 exalts per hour. It's like 15 to 20 x per hour. This is a really, really insane currency. If you are being very efficient with this, if you're running these maps quickly, if you're selling stuff in bulk, you're gonna make absolutely insane currency using this strategy. So I definitely recommend this. This is a strategy that basically got me to like insane amount of currency. I just more than doubled the currency that I had, and definitely it's worth investing into it. There are many strategies this league to farm currency, but definitely 100% Delirious Cemeteries is one of them. Probably because the Brother Stash card is dropping so regularly and it's not nerfed yet, like the Doctor. The Doctor card has been nerfed so many times, so you don't drop it that often. But the Brother Stash is fairly frequent, and like every now and then, every single day basically, you can expect to drop one if you're playing for like 4 or 5 hours doing these maps. So that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more of this footage, you can check out the VODs on my Twitch channel, and you can check out future streams where we're going to be probably working on the next guides that we're making. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.